league being represented here this week. Starting with the BC Commissioner, Dirk Ratchfall. Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League Commissioner, Sean Agus. And the hosting Ontario Junior Lacrosse League Commissioner, Mark Grimes, and Deputy Commissioner, Bob Cleveley. We also have with us our host convener, Dean McLeod. Our tournament's referee-in-chief, Shane Hubbard. Our tournament officials, Blair Ferguson, Jeremy Bailey, Brendan Hessen, Blaine Harding, John Vander Riesen, and Riley Lowe. And our assistant referee-in-chief, Josh Hills. Our starting lineups for tonight's game. On the visitors' bench, the Edmonton Miners, number 00, Katie Mellinger. Number 1, Jace 2, Calvin Harris. 3, Casey Charles. 4, Jacob Powers. 6, Reese Barnes. 11, Charlie McFadden. 12, Jack Royer. 15, Jake Bowen. Number 16, Roland Bush. Number 17, Matthew Gauthier. Number 18, Alex Lemieux. Number 19, Connor Cook. 21, Bennett Smith. 22, Davis Dane. 33, Caitlin Mander. 44, Sean Colwilton. Number 55, Matthew McFadden. 66, Marcus Needham. And 99, Luke Bowen. Ladies and gentlemen, the Edmonton Miners. And on the home bench, the Whitby Warriors, starting at number 1, Caleb Martin. Goalie number 29, Liam Wright. Number 2, Ben McDonald. Number 4, Carter Shaw. 7, Jake Darlington. 8, Gabriel Sorochetti. Number 9, Owen Tapper. Number 10, Jack Bloodway. Number 11, Tristan Denvers. 12, Michael White. 13, Jake Doolittle. 14, Katie Wallace. Number 16, Kobe Hanser. Number 17, Scott Reed. 21, Riley Knox. 22, Rob Haley. 23, Lucas Littlejohn. 25, Parker Pfeiffer. 42, Jack Goldman. And number 51, Adam Watchers. Ladies and gentlemen, your Whitby Warriors. And we have a special guest with us tonight to perform the ceremonial face-off. He's known as the voice of the Maple Leafs. He's done radio play-by-play for the Fan 590 and TSN Radio. He's called games for the Toronto Rock going all the way back to when they were known as the Ontario Raiders. In 2018, he was named the winner of the Foster Hewitt Memorial Award. Fans, please welcome Joe Bowen. I'd now like to ask everybody to please rise and remove your hats for land acknowledgement, followed by the Canadian National Anthem. We would like to begin by acknowledging the land on which we gather, in which the region Peel operates, as part of the treaty lands and territory of the Mississauga of Credit. For thousands of years, Indigenous peoples inhabited and created for this land and continue to do so today. In particular, we acknowledge the territory of the Anishinaabe, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Ojibwe Chippewa peoples. The land that is home to the Métis and most recently the territory of the Mississauga of the Credit's First Nation were direct descendants of the Mississauga of the Credit. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land, and by doing so, give our respects to its first inhabitants. Thank you.
Matthew Carrick, Pat Gregoire, and Jonathan Tonville between the benches here alongside our JVI Sports Network crew here on the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League's YouTube channel as well as on tsn.ca. This is the Minto Cup, and I believe the festivities are over with, and we can get to game number 2. Game number 1 won by the Toronto Beaches, a 9-7 final score in overtime. Willem Firth, the overtime hero in that game, also getting a second overtime goal from Greg Palmer. And as they clear the floor, we get set for the Ontario champions Whitby Warriors to face off against the Edmonton Miners, who come out of the Rocky Mountain Lacrosse League.
Starting in a goal for these Miners is Keegan Melanchuk, sporting a 10 goals against average in the postseason. He's a big body, he moves quite well, and he's a goalie that certainly this coaching staff has some confidence in getting the start tonight.
Over on the other side, it was kind of back and forth for Whitby in the Ontario finals before Caleb Martin finally took the reins and has not given it up, at least not yet. He gets the start tonight in game number 1 of this Minto Cup campaign, as we are set to go here between the Whitby Warriors and the Miners Lacrosse Club. Early movement from Jack Oldman off that start, and the Miners will get first possession. They're in their black jerseys with the beautiful red chrome buckets.
Approved.
Going left to right, absolutely 100%. Big numbers also approved from us up here. I should be able to see most of them as this ball skips away from their first offense and into the hands of Ben McDonnell. Had trouble with it coming across center though.
If you like the fast pace between the Beaches and the Shamrocks, expect a lot more. We know how athletic the Miners are. Whitby loves to play fast on both sides of the ball.
Led by John Lintz, who was just as, if not more, up-tempo, I guess, adrenaline fueled in the practice for the Miners in their shoot-around earlier this afternoon. Victoria Shamrocks and Toronto Beaches also still in the house. Again, all teams back in action tomorrow. Here's Jake Bowen. He crashes through the first defender, gets in, and the first save made there by Caleb Martin.
Jake Bowen led this team in scoring with 76 points in the regular season, was stymied a little bit in the postseason, 44-9, which is pretty solid, but that just goes to show how much depth in scoring these guys had down the stretch in the postseason.
Including that man right there, Matthew Gauthier, who passes it off into the corner for Kalen Harris. Now brought back out of the far corner as the shot clock's going to hit 10. Back up top for Gauthier again, gets it, now cuts through, and again a low save made by Martin. Rebound picked up, he'll make the second one as well. And back in call against Whitby will give it back here to the Miners.
A couple tough turnovers from this Warriors defense. You and I talked about it ad nauseum during the postseason. The defense is so underrated. They're fast, they're mean, they like to push the ball in transition. We see a lot of guys that can kind of play both ways, but maybe a little bit of jitters here at the Minto Cup, as we've had two pretty uncharacteristic turnovers.
Well, it's also a team that we talked about it a little bit with the Beaches, who haven't played in almost 2 weeks after that Ontario final, and they cough up the ball at center again. The shot here bouncing just wide of Martin off the end boards. Whitby yet to get a real good offensive possession underway as Lucas Littlejohn will bring it up over center. Riley Knox now to Adam Potras, the captain. Potras for Knox, his shot didn't miss the top of the net by much. Hit off the dasher though. Shot clock continues to tick down under 10. Big collision right at the restraining line. Ball bouncing away from Soroketti. Look out, Knox run over. And we're getting our first penalty. I think it's going to go to the Miners, and it will be a cross-check. Brendan Hessen, Lane Hartog, Jeremy Bailey, the on-floor officials. John Vandergiesen is the standby.
And Matthew McFadden going to sit down for 2 minutes or less for the illegal cross-check. We'll see here. Loose ball down on the turf. Potra goes, and I think the right call there indeed, but certainly when you see a superstar player like that, maybe the defender thought he would be able to get a little bit of an extra licking.
Brock Haley nearly all alone on the crease. Parker Pfeiffer will take top spot and go behind his back to Haley, who shot off the arm and into the pad there of Schmelinchuk. For all the talk of Brock Haley, Matthew Gauthier actually had a better points per game average in the playoffs over what Haley did, which made national attention in his graduating season. I was told he's got one more of school left, so not eligible for this NLL draft, but it won't be long before you'll hear his name called at the pro level.
Yeah, I'm certainly thinking Sean Williams, head coach of this Whitby Warriors team, and of course the new head coach and general manager of the Vegas Desert Dogs, certainly might be having his eyes on him and a couple other players on this team.
Well, there's another good young player who's, I think, up for grabs this year too. His name Dyson Williams, as Littlejohn will get Whitby on the board first with a rebound right in front. It's a power play goal for the Warriors.
There's so many of those big names that we talk about at length, Haley, Potras, Pfeiffer, but a guy that has garnered a lot of attention in the postseason has been Lucas Littlejohn. Picks up that loose ball, throws the little twister finish, and still has the body awareness to stay out of the crease there. Littlejohn, man, if you don't have stock in him, start buying, because it's only going to go up.
First chance for this face-off to check in with our ringside reporter, Jonathan Donville. Yeah, well, it's the offense going back to work. We'll get our chance to hear the goal song of the Miners after Blur was just blasting through the speakers here. It's a 1-1 game.
And he totally redeems himself. Charlie McFadden, who was sitting down in the box, comes in on transition, off the face-off, and just unloads an absolute cannonade from the outside. Top Cheese, how are you?
Do you want to finish your thought there, Johnny?
I just think Littlejohn's got to be one of the most important players in this tournament. We know Haley's going to score. We know Poitras is going to score. but he's been such an X factor for Whitby late in this playoffs. I think Matt Collison from Beaches is a similar kind of guy. When he gets going, gives him a three-headed monster. That's a great sign for Whitby to get Little John going early.
Poitras making, that shot off the goaltender. He'll grab the rebound back, and it quickly works its way to Haley, who I don't know if that fell out of the stick or got tipped, but Haley will get it back. Brock Haley and Adam Poitras both fresh off a trip to Ireland, playing for the Team Canada under 21s. Another player who fits in with that offense, Soroketti on the far side. That was Tristan Dempers that time. And Melchuk will get the reset, and Whitby got the rebound though, so they'll go back to work.
I think Budway is another player that John...
They're all over this roster, Pat. Like, what a good call from Donville again. Oh my! As Parker Pfeiffer says, don't forget about me. And out of the crease comes Melnichuk, right back of the netminder. Haley back to Pfeiffer to the net, and that one sails wide. And Pfeiffer is going to be called for the cross-check. Sorry, it's going to the minors, and it'll be their captain, I believe, Bennett Smith.
Yeah, Bennett Smith and Charlie McFadden, two of the veteran leaders on this team, both taking penalties. And talking to John Lintz earlier this week, he said keep your eyes on these two guys. These guys have pro potential. They play with jam. They play with a lot of energy, but maybe coming into this game with a little bit too much sandpaper.
Power play setting up here. Haley. Poitras. Haley again. This is a team, none of these players have been to the Minto Cup on either of these two sides. A long time for both these teams. Little John, low shot. And the other story about Little John, we're going to talk to him in a couple days in one of our upcoming features. This is his second national championship in about 4 months.
Yeah.
He plays for the Pickering Panthers of the Ontario Junior Hockey League, and they made it all the way to the Centennial Cup this year. Came up a bit short. He's trying to get revenge here at the Minto. In a building where his father once dressed, or I believe it is his father, Frank, if I'm not mistaken, for the Brampton Beast. Haley and Poitras playing catch far side. Haley works off the top, takes a shot. Melnichuk the save. The rebound bounces right back to McFadden. Not sure he ever really got possession with Poitras right on the doorstep. And we're going to get a penalty coming here. There were way too many on the floor for the Miners. Happened right in front of you, John. And we will go 5-on-3 for this oh-so-dangerous Whitby power play.
After what was such a great start for this Miners team, playing with jump, getting some looks, just a couple of very, very costly penalties. Now, this Whitby power play, when 5-on-4, a lot of teams struggle to slow this down. Now a 5-on-3, you're really, really starting to shoot yourself in the foot with all these dynamic shooters.
Davis Dame going to serve. Here's Poitras around the back as they're going to leave one high as the safety valve. The shot there from Poitras off the arm of Melnichuk. Over into the corner. Poitras, Haley. Poitras a couple fakes. He'll go back into the corner again. Taking the shot clock all the way down here. Still no shot from Soroketti. Now Poitras rings it off the iron, and it'll bounce all the way back to center, and that's why Scott Reed is there. Plays safety valve, and Scott Reed will run off. Missed the majority of the Ontario playoffs due to injury. Came back in the final 2 games and was absolutely dominant defensively. Poitras to the corner. Soroketti. Cross floor pass intended for Pfeiffer. Bounces Aaron in the corner, and that allowed Blake Harrison to pick up. He's all tied up, though, as the Miners try and break out. Hudson Trivers trying to drag it out, and as it's picked up here, they'll run in front of Jonathan Donville. We'll get to him in a second. Oh, big high hit at the restraining line. Owen Tapper goes down, the official's arm goes high, and more penalty trouble for the Miners as the shot goes off the crossbar. Minto Cup MVP, at least for another few days. Jonathan Donville, what did you see?
The Whitby bench wanted 5 there.
I think we can definitely hear what they thought of that. I hope you folks at home could not. Donville right in the middle of the action as he was in 2019. Different spot on the floor, though. Patras, that first shot. Melnichuk the save. In for Pfeiffer. Haley and Patras playing catch. Haley will rip, and that's off the arm of Melnichuk. Reed again goes back to the bench as the first penalty will expire. And the Miners down to 1:20 left here. We've already played 9 in our first period. Up top, Haley. Crossing through was Pfeiffer. His shot. That one off the hand. Reaching down low was Melnichuk that time. But Whitby still with it. Haley. Running through was Patras. His shot never got there. And it will be the Miners bringing it down. And they're going to try and beat the 8 count. And they'll get there with the spin move from Ronan Punch. Under a minute to go in the penalty. 15 seconds left to kill for the Miners. Here on their shot clock, Bowen has it. That's Jake Bowen. One of 2 pairs of brothers on this Miners lacrosse club. 4-on-1 and still getting the shot was Matthew Gauthier. You gotta be kidding me.
I guess that's why he put up a bucket of points in the postseason. I'm sure if you talk to the Whitby coaching staff, they probably would have liked a little more cross-checking there, but nonetheless, some resiliency there from Gauthier.
Matthew Gauthier, also a multi-sport athlete. Told he plays for the Wabian Red Wings hockey team. As a shot comes through, Melnichuk the save, and we are back to 5-on-5 lacrosse for the first time in quite some time. It feels like the Miners have been down 2 men most of this period. And Martin hasn't had much to do, but makes the save there as Whitby will run it back out and across center. Jack Oldman. Bouncer far side, Tristan Dempers trying to feed Knox, cutting through backdoor. He gets shoved into the far corner. This is Bennett Smith. That penalty not taking the grit and grind out of the game of Bennett Smith, at least in the early going here of this Miners Minto Cup campaign. Spin move and the spin from Ronan Punch. Back to Reese Barnes now. Barnes heading off as a low shot comes from the near side. That's Punch again. And down low to meet it was Caleb Martin. Brock Haley. He'll wait for help in front. Peyton Wallace is there. Haley shakes his defender. Passes to the far side for Patras. Now returning back near side, Haley. Works around his screen again, and the pass comes high for Jack Budway. And good thing the rebound was hung on to by Melnichuk, because Haley was snooping around right on the crease to see what he could find.
Whitby really want to play aggressive here, and exactly the reason right here. Try to pressure some of these defensive players who are supreme athletes, but force them into some sort of turnover, which they almost did there.
Wide shot from Kalen Harris. Still ends up in an Edmonton stick. Big high step shot and a goal. After having to kill off a number of penalties, the Miners have the lead.
This is just a goal scorer's goal. As we'll see, Jake Bowen, again, great job by the defense fighting through that hard ride, but Bowen just comes across We'll get a great look right here, Matt. He's going to just catch it and just put a whole ton of force in. Takes that shot, and it's going to kiss right off the bar, and then that is a beautiful goal. Bowen showing off why he was able to post 31 goals in just 15 games.
Oldman, the clean face-off. Win races in, and we're tied again. Oldman straight to the rack.
Jack Oldman ending the term face-off get-off as he goes coast to coast, or half coast to coast, I guess, takes the ball himself and just perfectly puts that right over the left shoulder of Melanchuk.
That depends. Did you say go off or goal off?
Fair enough.
I'll take it later. I told you court's in session on Friday. Well, Oldman. Bouncing ball skips out past the restraining line.
Again, there you go. Oldman, though, just shows how smart of a player is. This time, he gets a little bit of daylight instead, slows it down, gets his offense on the floor, and almost sets up a goal there for Patra.
Haley for Pfeiffer. Little John in front, stirring up trouble as that shot goes wide off the end boards. 7 minutes to play here in a tied first period. Whistle there, and a turnover as the Miners come back across center. Charlie McFadden up top. If you missed the news earlier from the press conference, Joe Bowen is in the house. Voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs here in these parts, and the original voice of the Toronto Rock. Him and Brian Shanahan will take over the headsets to call the finals, which is going to be exciting for all of us to work with those two. Miners got a little too close to Caleb Martin there. He took exception. Whitby bench, including Sean Williams.
Thank goodness we didn't.
Penalty there.
Thank goodness we didn't mic up the coaches.
I think Jonathan Donville's learned some new words down there in between the benches.
I don't think Mitch Wild wants me to talk tonight. I think he wants me to keep my mic off.
Matthew Gauthier. Halfway through the shot clock, they tried the quick stick in the back door, and it ended up with a Kalen Harris foot in the crease. Here's Little John, under 6 to go in the period. He'll give to Parker Pfeiffer. Now for Brock Haley. Haley stops up. Soroketti far side, now Haley again. Down the boards here for Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer back to the far side, low shot from Soroketti. That caught all of his teammate Tristan Dempers, who's got a hitch in his step as he heads off to the bench. The war of attrition that is the Minto Cup, Pat.
Sometimes the teams that stay the most healthy end up being the most victorious here, and
Miners try that quick stick again to the back door, and as it was returned for Harris, nearly capitalized. Luke Bowen now. Gauthier will take it at the restraining line. Gauthier flipping it here to Harris. That ball will roll into the corner. This is halfway through the Miners' shot clock, and all on their shot clock with Kobe Hanser going hard into the boards. Still battling over who's going to get this loose ball, and we're under 5 seconds to go. Will get a shot, and it forces Martin into full splits.
And that's sometimes the difficulty as a defender. You try to muck things up. I'll get to here as the Miners have a fast break.
Alex Lemieux over to the trailer, and it's in. Miners back ahead again. Jonathan, what did you see?
but it's beyond physical attrition too. It's mental, and in both positive and negative. Like, this tournament doesn't give you a chance to breathe. So if you get hot, you start scoring, it's awesome. You just keep playing, you keep playing, you keep playing. But if you're in a scoring drought, if you're an old guy and you can't get one to go, it's like the worst because you're at the rink all day and that kind of thing. So it's a war of attrition physically and mentally, and it's a week of all lacrosse.
Jonathan Donville played in 2 of these tournaments. Defending champion, defending MVP. For another few days. Anyways, as they go quick stick, this time left to right, and it's a 2-goal lead with Gauthier capitalizing.
We talked about it. This team was going to play fast and furious, but that doesn't just mean in transition pushing the ball up the floor. This means spinning the ball, not letting the ball die in your stick. Get this aggressive defense of Whitby moving. We'll see here. Great pass across to the trailer. And it's a beautiful skip pass right to the crease. Caleb Martin with absolutely no chance as Matthew Gauthier scores his 2nd of the game.
Goodness, Gauthier just a little half back step to find himself in open space. And Oldman, I believe you're still allowed to cross one line. That not the face-off violation there, or the over and back, excuse me. That is a rifle of a shot that goes. I think that might have hit one of the stanchions the way that came back. Here's Haley.
To build off Jonathan's point about,
or not,
what I was going to say is you just have to trust the process, continue doing what's been working for you all season, and what's been working for the Warriors, give Brock Haley the ball and let him shoot through his slump.
Mitch Wild doesn't want you guys to speak, and neither does Brock Haley, as just as you were about to say, he does that and makes it a 1-goal game now, 4-3, with 3:22 left here in period number 1. Jonathan, go ahead.
You hear sometimes guys talking about NHL players, and a guy like Phil Kessel just gets you easy goals. Brock Haley gets you easy goals. It feels like for a lot of teams, they have to grind it out they have to really grind for their goals, and Haley just goes pipe in, gets these seemingly easy goals. I know it's not easy, but it's just such a weight off their team's shoulders.
Have to keep our eye on Oldman here, who heads off the floor after taking that hard shot. Kalen Fraser, the longtime trainer of this Whitby squad. Kind of let him walk through, let him work it out himself. Looks like Oldman will be okay as the Miners come back. 1-on-1, Jacob Power. His first shot off Martin, his second one lands in the crease. And then a little extra from Tristan Dempers. And where's the ball? In the left pad that was all twisted around Caleb Martin there. Here's Scott Reed. He'll give to Little John and now head off. Pfeiffer for Haley. No shot over traffic out in front of the crease instead, and it was Pfeiffer there. Man, the highlight reel, get it ready because Parker Pfeiffer is starting to warm it up, and he's going to do something spectacular here before the night's through. Bennett Smith cutting through, and that was Luke Bowen who shot just bounced wide of Martin and his crease.
You can hear the Warriors bench screaming, get up, get up. Really try to start putting pressure on the transition of the Miners, but the Miners have done a great job beating their men and then finding that open guy in the middle. Not just a testament to their athleticism, but also their lacrosse IQ to be able to find that open man and not panic.
Budway will go far side for Patras, who ducks the shoulder and cuts in, and I think he's drawn a holding call even though the shot went wide. And back to the penalty box is the Miners despite leading 4-3. It'll be the rest of the period if Whitby's unable to score. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Hey, just picking up off what you were saying, it sounds like Whitby wants to really pressure the ball early in the possession and then kind of sag off a little bit once they get it down to the corners. and you hear their bench yelling off ball, get tight, like off ball sag in a little bit more. That's what they've kind of been missing. They're pressuring the ball, but they've given up some good looks with just everybody playing on the boards and giving up, back cuts to the goal.
Look out from long range, Haley. Just like that, we're all tied with Connor Cook going to the box for the Miners.
And this is just a typical Whitby Warriors power play that they've been running for a long time, especially in the last couple of years with Dyson Williams. But this time with the sharpshooter of Brock Haley, they run it with the righty on the wrong side, and I'm reluctant to say wrong side of the floor because when you can shoot the rock like that, anything's right.
That's 2 goals tonight from, we got both ad spaces covered here, Patty. Not sure if we're allowed to mention it or not, but the FaceTime game is real, whether we want it or not. Here's Brock Haley, low shot, and goes off of Melnichuk. For McFadden. He'll bring down the pass and work the transition up over center as we near the last minute of play in what is just become a 4-4 tie first period. Bowen down the boards into the corner. Long shot from up top. The shot from Kalen Harris. Our feature this game will be on Eric George of the Miners Lacrosse Club. Of course, we'll probably say hello to Mackie Jenner as well, the better Jenner, as I like to call her.
Don't we all?
Just kidding, Teddy.
I'm not.
30 seconds to go here in the offense. His stick exploded over there for the Miners. One of the Miners defenders. Haley will go back for Patras with 5 on the shot clock. Ball brought down, and immediately John Lynn signaling for the timeout. He'll get it with 21 seconds left here in the first period.
Again, just to reiterate what we kind of talked about coming into this game and about how fast-paced it is. And Jonathan brings up such a great point. Yeah, Whitby is playing really well, pressing out, forcing the Miners to make that good play. But again, he said it perfectly. You can be pressing out as much as you want. If you don't have that backside help, it's next to virtually useless to be playing that aggressive. They're giving up way too many looks. I know if they can get away here with a 4-4 tie, they're not going to come into the room super upset or rattled by any means, but I think they can say, all right, we weathered the storm, it's tied. The Miners came out and played a great first period, but we have to clean things up. This cannot be the way that we're going to play, because if we do, the Miners are good enough to make it pay.
All right, Jonathan, 6 on 5. What do you see?
Interesting there, Tapper getting up and playing the ball. The thing I was going to say about just agreeing with Patty is it shows the athleticism of this Miners team. Typically, there is a bit of an athleticism gap between the Alberta team and the Ontario team. Not this year. These guys are going toe for toe.
Harris shot off the end boards. A lot of time for Jack Royer. First time we called his name as the shot comes through and bounces just wide of Martin. But how about that for a first period? Penalty trouble for the Miners, but they still exit tied 4-4 against the Ontario champions.
Couldn't have asked for a better first period. It was fast, furious. We saw some physical play, but both these teams have come here to play. A little bit of storm weathering for Warriors. We talked about the team coming in. Sometimes they get that extra bolt of energy. It's crazy to say, but I think the Miners might even be thinking we might have to rein in that energy a little bit, which I think they did in that second half. Still playing aggressive, but not taking those penalties.
It's a team that wants to change the narrative, at least in this part of the country, and maybe starting to do that here in the first period where they're tied 4-4 against the Ontario champions Whitby Warriors. This is day number 1, game 2 of the Minto Cup, hosted by the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League on TSN.
On our family dairy farm, there's a saying that the sun doesn't start the day, we do. It's our daily reminder to be our best, make our best, and that our dairy farm doesn't just take care of our family, it's part of something bigger. That's dairy done right.
Gatorade, with electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat. carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing. Gatorade.
The Minto Cup is awarded annually to the Canadian Men's Box Junior Champions of Canada. But did you also know that the Minto Cup is one of the oldest trophies in the history of Canadian sports? The Minto Cup was originally donated in 1901 by the 4th Earl of Minto. The championship was restricted to amateur athletes, but soon enough, under-the-table professional teams were making their run for the cup. There were countless efforts to restrict the Minto Cup to only amateur athletes, but after 1904, this cup was up for grabs for all who chose to compete for it. They then decided that in 1910, the Man Cup would be given to the champions of the Amateur League, and the Minto would still be awarded to the winners of the Professional League. Finally, in 1924, when the Coast Professional League folded, the Minto Cup was placed into storage. After 12 long years of inactivity, the Canadian Lacrosse Association decided to revive the Minto Cup Championship, but this time award it to the Junior Champions of Canada. However, they did face a hurdle, as they could not find where the Minto Cup trophy was kept. So stay tuned for more on the history of the Minto Cup.
We don't control that. We're part of TV. TSN, so we don't do that.
As well as checking out the silent auction on your golf course. Reminder, the silent auction will be closing at the end of the tournament's round robin. So make sure you get all your bids in before then.
Oh yeah, they have his rights.
Well, those two are going to be gross together.
And Randy Stocks. That right side.
Welcome back to Brampton, Canada, and the rest of the world, wherever you're watching here on YouTube or tsn.ca. This is the Minto Cup, and it is 4-4 after the first period. Pat, here's how we got there.
Start things off with that Lucas Littlejohn goal on the power play, picks up the rebound, hammers it home. But the Miners were not going anywhere anytime fast, and an absolute bomb from the outside from Charlie McFadden immediately after that penalty. And then again, quick strike once again. Bowen scoring a big goal here. But off the face-off, it's Jack Olden, and back and forth we go. There was tons of momentum swings, Matt. And then here goes Brock Haley doing Brock Haley things, scoring on the run. But again, a lot of momentum swings. There's the second goal for Haley from the wrong side. But there was never any points where it felt like one team was really controlling the pace. It was short swings, and I think that just speaks to the way these teams play. They play with a lot of edge. They play with a lot of speed, and sometimes they're going to have some costly turnovers, but that's just the way they play the game.
4 penalties in that first period. Miners were down 5-on-3 twice. Keegan Lutch-Melnichuk making 18 saves in that first period. Both Matthew Gauthier and Brock Haley, the two superstars for their respective teams, coming away with 3 points in that period. And Caleb Martin facing 17 shots, making 14 saves, as well as we get ready for the second period.
You know, Matt, I wonder, is this a case that, Whitby maybe came into this game underestimating this Miner team? I know when you talk to the coaching staff, they certainly know how good this team is. They watched a ton of film, but it just certainly felt like the Warriors kind of came out slow, started to push. As one of the Transition Player of the Year finalists, Owen Tapper takes a shot on net there.
Near the bench, screaming again to get back, as Caleb Martin is now in the net to our left for Whitby. Still Keegan Lutch-Melnichuk off to our right-hand side. Miners, no room to run there as Reed pushes his man outside, eventually into the end, boards off the inside of the post and out the back door. Miners were that close to their third lead of this game. Loose ball picked up, and Jonathan, what are you expecting here in period number 2?
Just something interesting to note here. Obviously, in junior A, we're used to these guys having played with each other for a long time. But the Miners have 6 players who play at Queen's University Charlotte. 6 guys on one college team. Yeah. These guys are basically playing full-time, year-round with each other. Pretty cool, and also, probably part of their success, too. These guys know each other better than anybody else.
Yeah, Bennett Smith didn't actually, he just said, a lot of guys play with each other at school, but kind of shook it off. But I tend to agree with you that that's got to help as Patras gets taken down there. Luke Bowen with force and authority at the center line. Shot still made its way through in on Martin, though. Jake Darlison cutting back. That shot off the foot of Melnichuk. It'll bounce all the way back to the restraining line. Alex Lemieux. He'll break the timeline. And now Matthew McFadden to take over, but only briefly for Davis Dame. His shot into Caleb Martin.
Going off what Jonathan was saying about a lot of chemistry with these guys. One thing of note, Calgary does have the ability to bring in some players as imports. Believe they have 2 players from, I'll finish that in 1 second here, as anytime Whitby has the ball, there's a chance that it finds the back of that. 2 of them from the Mounties, another one from Port Coquitlam, and then another player from the Raiders. So those players certainly going to have to find their way with the team and build some of that chemistry. But again, chemistry goes so far ways, especially in these short tournaments.
Bowen across, brings it back down, faked the outside shot, who put it in the corner, cut back move, and Miners are celebrating. They're saying it's a goal. We're going to get another look. Saw this in the first game, a 2-goal swing on a crease call. That was taken away from the Beaches, and Victoria turned it back. Miners now trying to make it a moot point. First pass will drop off the stick of Michael White. White hard after his man, pass, going to the far side. Scott Reed is there, and it's not going to matter as it squeaks through Martin.
One of 6 Queen's University of Charlotte players getting it on the scoring. This one's just a little bit of a fadeaway. I think Caleb Martin's going to want this one back. As we'll see, right off the back foot, goes off his leg and in. We'll get another
and
look
this is
as
the one
this
before
no
that.
goal. Yeah, exactly. So here's the spin, takes the shot. It's that bouncer. Great move. Goes through bar and out. That's a good call.
Yeah.
That is a good call. But as you said, Matt, not going to matter because Callan Harris regains this lead for the Miners.
Believe it's their 4th, as Patras will find a cutter coming in. Pfeiffer. That snuck through.
How? I don't know, but it does sneak through as Pfeiffer continues to just shock us and leave us speechless. He doesn't score as many goals as some of his other teammates, but when he scores, they come at big moments in the game, and they are things of beauty. One little fake, and again, I can't even see net, and that somehow goes in the back of the net. A special player doing some special things here on the floor.
Quickly down to Jonathan Donville between the benches.
Yeah, I was just going to say, before when Harris scored, one of the Queen Charlotte guys, one of the cool parts about this tournament is for guys who do play in the NCAA is most of your teammates are back at school watching these games. So I'm sure that the boys at Queens Charlotte might be watching this right now, and just kind of cool to share that moment with your teammates.
And I promise this is not an infomercial for Queens of Charlotte, but one thing of note, they are moving to D1. So I know huge things for that program. As they've been a strong team in D2, expect to see a lot more Canadians go south of the border. Absolutely.
There's a lot of ink in the 3rd or 4th column, whatever it is, in our media guide here, where all these players are continuing their studies while continuing to play ball. Our own Jonathan Donville headed back to Maryland for his final semester before his first taste of pro action. Don't think I didn't see you up here making nice with the Panthers City crew up in the stands. Notice Patrick Dodds do the same thing though. On the run, here comes the Miners. What a back check there from Little John. Taking it away from Jack Royer.
Little John and Tapper, 2 guys, Jake Darlison as well. Those 3 guys, I think you could pick and pluck them in any situation, and they're going to be successful. So good defensively, great offensively, can win you loose balls on the draw team. 3 great players that are going to be playing for this team for a long time.
Tapper and Soroketti banging with each other in the corner. This ball is going to roll back in front of the net, but that was all on Whitby's shot clock, so their 30 will expire. Bennett Smith lowers the shoulder there to get across center. Now playing back for Gauthier. Spin move out of the corner again. Still with it, Harris. Harris looking for that cross crease pass, and Pfeiffer there to knock it down. Still recovered by the Miners, however. Harris again, a twist shot and lean to the feet of Martin. And he'll hang on to make the save. That was Bowen setting that up. Pressuring the ball, Davis Dame, and just breaking the 8 count. 8 to get over center here for the Warriors. Brock Haley out of the corner for Patras. Now Tristan Dempers near side. His low shot will get fired off the arm of Melanchuk, and Miners control the rebound, and they'll bring it across center again. Ronan Punch. Ball will roll back into his stick with a fresh 30 seconds here. Punch. Nearing the 7 minutes mark gone of this second period, tied 5-all. Ball just kind of rolling away from everybody here on this possession. Goche will pass it back into the corner, too high for Royer, who does pick it up and shoots anyways. Rebounds straight on the crease, and then dumped after the fact was Marcus Needham. Caleb Martin taking care of the ball. Needham nearly got it back from White, and that was late in the count as Whitby brings it down, and it will be Patras. And for the first time in this game, the Whitby Warriors have the lead.
And who else but their captain and the MVP of the Ontario Finals, Adam Patra. Grabs that ball, almost goes into his own bench, just puts on the afterburners and throws that twister. We've seen him do that so often here for the Warriors. Just an unbelievable finish from Patra. It's remarkable that a guy on his team scored 74 goals in the regular season, but that man right there is the guy that was nominated for the MVP. Just speaks volumes to the all-around player that he is.
Two players with over 100 points in the regular season, and Pfeiffer wasn't that far behind. I think 80 some odd for Parker Pfeiffer. Part of the three-headed offense. Jake Darlison wants to get them back to work quickly. Second lead of the game here for Whitby will go quickly down to Jonathan Donville. Ball bounces off a couple players, and Martin looked like he had a bit of trouble with that before it eventually pinballed its way into the stick of Ben McDonnell. He'll give to Carter Schott, and they're streaming out the front door again. Trying to fly the W as Little John. Passes through to Patras, he ducks under the defender. Got hauled down on his way to the crease, no call. The shot there bounces. It's like off the post perhaps. McFadden. For Royer. Cross floor pass again, looking shot and a low one. Heads up here in the stands. And we talked about this in the first game, Pat. This is the month of lacrosse here in Ontario. The summer games held in St. Catharines got a lot of people excited. Look out, this ball bouncing through the crease of right, picked up by Edmonton again. But that got the momentum going. It was capped by the Founders Cup that ended last night. The Nepean Knights taking national honors over Coquitlam, and an 8-second count will go here against Whitby.
Undefeated in the postseason, ran the gauntlet in the OJLL, and then ran the table at the Founders. Couple close games, some close calls, especially in that finals against Coquitlam, but again, we talked about growth of the game. Man, what Nepean has been able to do as a minor program and then at the junior B level into then developing players at the next level, it is remarkable. Look no further than Willem Firth and, of course, Will Johnson, the two standouts from last game, both Nepean Knights from minor and also played a season in junior B as well.
Halfway mark of regulation as this ball bounces off the stick of Patras. Look out. It was Pfeiffer, who wanted seconds. He'll come back for thirds. That was his ball bounces out of his stick. He's still going after it. It's in the stick of Jacob Power, though. Gets tripped up at center. That was a mad scramble to get it across that Toronto Rock logo. Connor Cook will pass here, and the point that I was trying to get at was for day number 1, I mean, this is a 4,500 seat arena. It's actually looked pretty good, considering this is, again, day number 1 of this tournament, and it's only going to get better as we get through to the weekend. Shot there from Melnichuk. McFadden couldn't bring it down, so he goes straight after Kobe Hanser, who just batted it back for Owen Tapper. Tapper now returns the favor. Carter's shot will clear it into offensive territory.
I think you still get your tickets, Matt, can you not?
I believe so. Single game tickets available. Patras is worth every dime.
Patra, one of these players coming back from Limerick, Ireland, but it is remarkable because he does not look like he's jet lagged whatsoever. Takes that outside rip, an unbelievable strike here. Great pick as well on the off ball by Tristan Dempers, one of the unsung heroes of this offense. Throws that big pick, frees up enough space for Patra to get his second goal of the game.
Forget if it was this game or last game, Jonathan actually said and noticed that it was the guys who were in Ireland that seemed to have the most amount of jump in their step here in the early going. Sometimes, you know, day number 1, you've got the jitters, it's the Minto Cup, you've got, you know, bus legs, you haven't played in 2 weeks if you're Whitby. But I mean, the guys that come back from, what, a 12-hour, 10-hour flight or whatever it is, I mean, they seem to be the freshest. You expect nothing less from Haley and Patras for sure. As here's Pfeiffer trying to do damage again. So he'll give to Soroketti late in the shot clock, and we'll go quickly to Jonathan Donville.
Yeah, I think a comparison that a lot of Ontario folks will kind of know is when you're in minor lacrosse and you go to like Team Ontario tryouts, right? You're exhausted after it, but you play at such a high level. It sharpens your skills so much. So these guys are exhausted for sure, but they've been playing against the best players in the world for 2 weeks. Just sharpens the skills. It gets them playing at a different level. And I think you're seeing that. These guys are dialed in. Everybody else is a little bit rusty. And these guys, the Team Canada guys are whatever the opposite of rusty is.
Pristine.
Yeah, well oiled.
There you go. Swim move here by Ronan Punch will allow the Miners to get across center. They were deep in that 8 count. Bouncer here for Luke Bowen. He's got a cutter back door, and the shot low there on Martin. Bowen running across the restraining line there. No look feed. That kind of split 2 Miners offensive players on the crease, turning back over the shoulder, and now a leaping shot. Back to back there from Needham, and Martin takes both away. Tristan Dempers back the other way in transition.
When I had a conversation earlier this week with John Lentz, head coach of this team, he said, you know what, we might not have the Haleys, the Patras, the Willem Firths, but we believe we have one of, if not the most deep roster on offense and defense, and certainly we're seeing it. It's not 1 or 2 players that are sticking out for this Miners team. It's every single player contributing on the defensive end and the offensive end.
Well, stick with us at intermission. You'll want to hear what Eric George said, because he had a great comment about whether or not this offense was underestimated, understated, overlooked perhaps coming into this tournament. And John Lentz kind of shrugged that off in the press conference today and said, you know what, this is the best tournament in the league, or best tournament in Canada in Junior A, and all the teams are good, so you know, we deserve to be here. It's going to be the first time today that their power play gets an opportunity to shine, however, as Carter's shot goes off for roughing. 6 minutes to go here in the second period, and their power play getting a quick start as we get a look at that roughing call. It'll be quarterbacked here by Royer. Royer, long shot. I'm not sure that hit anything, but it goes up and out of play. Young fan's got himself a Minto Cup souvenir.
Whitby penalty number 4, Carter shot.
Owen Tapper.
For unnecessary roughness.
Up to Parker Pfeiffer.
Unnecessary roughness at 13.
They'll just slow things down here, but never dangerous. That pass down towards the feet of Patterson as the power play takes over. We go to Jonathan Donville.
One thing that's been interesting to notice here is when you're playing series, like in Ontario and Alberta and BC, you're playing series. By the end, you've run all your power plays. You don't have anything left, and you're almost, a lot of times you're just going out there and playing because you have no fresh plays. It has been interesting. We've seen a lot of crisp plays here with the 2 weeks off to practice and also just playing teams you haven't seen before. We've seen a lot of nice set pieces where as this tournament goes on, teams get more familiar with each other, expected to go more of just trying to get the ball moving and get a good look.
Peyton Wall is facing the double team. Owen Tapper there to collect the ball that popped out of his stick. Matthew Gauthier getting the first shot of the power play.
And to build off that as well, you have more time, 2 weeks off. You get to watch some film. You look to see what's worked for other teams against other penalty kills. So you're able to kind of dial things in at practice. So certainly we're seeing a lot of crisp play when it comes to the man advantage and the PK as well.
Miners showing it off here. Look at the ball fly as they come back door. And as we say that, it sails high from Bowen. Long shot up top. I believe that was, I was going to say Rowan Punch, but I think it's Jack Bowen as we get a pile up in front of Caleb Martin in the crease, and Scott Reed is getting up a bit slowly as Doolittle, who got a very hearty round of applause from
Yes, he did.
some of his fans and supporters, and now the entire Whitby bench will get one as they've killed off their first penalty of the game. Under 10 on the shot clock, it comes from the far side there from Parker Pfeiffer, and down floor breakout pass. This was worked on quite extensively in that minors practice. They were, I mean, for a game day shoot around, they were flying out here earlier this afternoon. And Soroketti to the far side. Big chop there from one of the defenders. On the off ball is a point of emphasis for these officials, as Little John will fire that off the end glass. Soroketti will put it on net and will get the slashing call. Pair of officials both with arms high, and at the end of the day, it'll be Brendan Hessen with the call.
Again, with the three-man crew, you know, any of those off-ball slashes, they're going to be called. It's a point of emphasis. We saw last game a very clean game, despite how chippy it was and how physical it was. But any sort of the holds and the off-ball slashes, those were getting called right away.
Let's go Whitby chant breaking out, and speaking of breaking out, that's what the stick of Haley does right out of his hands, and Soroketti shot there, bounced it off, I think, the post.
I think we solved it. The only way you can stop Brock Haley is physically breaking his stick.
Parker Pfeiffer swats it away from the official. That's two if it's your opponent. I don't know what it is if it's the ref. Here's Pfeiffer, quick stick to Soroketti again, and Melnichuk, a nice save. Patras to Pfeiffer. Down to Soroketti again, up top, Little John, his shot blocked. And now they go back to Pfeiffer again, far side. 1:05 left in the power play, halfway through the Whitby shot clock. Quick shot there from Pfeiffer, goes off Melnichuk, and nearly all the way back to center. And Melnichuk wants a stop here to check all that the gear is intact, but what that's gonna do is let Brock Haley get back on the floor. So we approach the 2-minute warning here on day number 1 of the Minto Cup, our primetime matchup. Pair of games coming your way tomorrow as well here on the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League YouTube channel and tsn.ca. Soroketti for the 3rd time this power play tries the quick stick and then gets dumped looking for the rebound. Pfeiffer was there to take it, gives to Patras his shot off Melnichuk. Ball bouncing away from, I believe that's Tapper, who got sat on, and a bit extra will draw the officials. We're being pretty close to some delay game calls here, if not more, Patty.
Towing the line.
Saw that in game number 1. Always, you know, this is a crew that hasn't worked together a lot. Is Soroketti for the 4th time on the power play, which now expires with Lemieux coming back on the floor. He's going to stay down floor, at least for the time being. They want that transition break coming into the final minute here. Will they get it? Not now, as Pfeiffer. Low shot off Melnichuk. Soroketti there to pick it up. And now they finally give up the play with Lemieux coming in to make it 5-on-5. Pfeiffer, 45 to go. Patras, Soroketti. Shot over top of a falling defender. Now they both fall together in on the crease. And 30 seconds to go with Lemieux high stepping it over center and now the restraining line. Back up top, big look there from Charlie McFadden. Luke Bowen passing back up top, 15 seconds left here in the period. 10 left on the Miners' shot clock. Royer, his shot knocked down here by Whitby, and they'll only have about 5 or 6 seconds. And I think they're gonna check the clock here. It stops with 4-4 left to go in the second period. And it'll be with Martin coming out.
Great play by Ben McDonnell. I mean, the more I watch this kid play, just the bigger fan I become of his game. He's mean, he's strong. And over the past year, it's remarkable to see how much better he is in transitioning the ball up the floor. That's something that obviously he's worked on quite a bit with his game. He goes to Robert Morris University, so, you know, he's a guy that, again, we talked about how Queens of Charlotte has a lot of Canadians from the West Coast. Well, Robert Morris is a university that Canadians always flock to regardless of where you're from, but he's a guy in the upcoming drafts, whatever he is eligible, I do believe it's one more year after this year. He's a guy that I'd have my eyes on closely.
Whitby gonna have to hurry here. They'll start with Patras all the way from outside. Really loading the right side of the floor, which is where the ball goes now. The shot and return from Dempers. No time to put it in on the second attempt. It will end a 7-5 score after 2.
A couple of big stops from Melnichuk there to keep this a 2-goal game, but you've got to give credit to the Miners. Again, one thing that's evidently clear, they have to stay out of the box. Even if Whitby's not scoring, those a man advantage, it's taking away offensive reps. And in that first period, the offense was really swinging the ball. Now they're not getting it nearly as much. You can tell it almost seems like they're forcing the issue.
Well, our final period of the day coming up next here at the Minto Cup in Brampton, Ontario. 7-5, the Whitby Warriors lead the Miners Lacrosse Club. You are watching the Minto Cup here on the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League's YouTube channel and TSN Direct.
On our family dairy farm, there's a saying that the sun doesn't start the day, we do. It's our daily reminder to be our best, make our best. And that our dairy farm doesn't just take care of our family, it's part of something bigger. That's dairy done right.
Gatorade, with electrolytes to help replenish what's lost in sweat. carbs to help fuel your working muscles, and fluids to help you hydrate. Rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Scientifically formulated so you never stop competing. Gatorade.
The Minto Cup went missing when Charlie Welsh, the last remaining Minto Cup trustee, suddenly passed away on February 25th, 1938. Aside from not knowing where the actual trophy was hidden, the CLA did not have the legal right to hand out the award to the next season's winner. And unfortunately, Mr. Welsh's wife died just an hour after him, so the line of succession was lost. The CLA had to write a letter to the Lord of Minto in Scotland in order to get legal rights to hand out the trophy. Now that the legal side of the competition was sorted out, the more critical question of where was the cup needed to be resolved. After 7 months of searching, they were finally able to revive the trophy that was hidden in a desk in Charlie Welsh's Harbour Commission office. Finally, in 1940, the trophy was sent to Montreal to be refurbished, and years later, here we are, competing for that same Minto Cup trophy. I'm Mackie Jenner, and that's the history of the Minto Cup.
My name is Eric George, Miners Lacrosse Club from Stony Plain, Alberta, and I go to school at Schwann University. Small town west of Edmonton. Great lacrosse program there for guys in Spruce Stony area. Yeah, small town feel just like at my school at Schwann. I love it. I think just a great organization that we all played for, the Parkland Posse growing up. Great coaches and professionally run. It's definitely easier with leadership with guys like John Lintz and Rich, Ben, and then even having Ben Smith as our captain. It makes it super easy for the older guys to like say our piece here or there, work hard. For me, I don't say much. I'm just gonna put my head down and grind, lead by example. Playing with guys like Luke Bowen and Jack Royer, even Marcus Needham, they rip from the outside. Great goal scorer, super talented, so it's easier for me to run around, set picks. I love getting those guys open, pick assists for days. I'll get mine when I can, but mostly I'm trying to get those guys open, and if I can set a pick and get myself open, great. Did you see like the Instagram pages, Twitter pages that like rank the offense and rank the junior teams, and they have us like way below. They still have us ranked below teams that aren't even playing in the Minto this week. Super disrespectful, and we're gonna prove it this week. Pick assists for days.
Yes.
We get set for the final 20 minutes of the day here between the Miners Lacrosse Club and the Whitby Warriors, who, by the way, with 30 seconds left here on the clock, have not yet come out of their locker room. So that gives us time to check out some second period highlights. Pat Gregoire.
Well, the game earlier today was so good, so I guess we're going to take some looks at some of the goals that we saw in game number 1. But now it looks like the Warriors have hit the floor, so we might not have enough time. As the buzzer sounds, we know the Miners are ready to go here, Matt. They came out here almost 2 minutes ago, ready to roll.
That might give us more time, for we were treated to some Jonathan Donville karaoke during the intermission. He was the only guy down there. But
again,
here we go. This is how we got where we got.
Here's that Patra twister that's becoming very patented. And Patra again, second goal of the game, rips that one there. And that's how we got there. 7-5 the score. The Warriors win the faceoff off Jack Oldman, which is starting to become almost guaranteed the way how well he can take face.
Patra's back in the corner for Haley. He of the 74 goals in the regular season. Haley back up top to the restraining line. Hard shot from Soroketi as he chases down his second opportunity. That rolls in the corner. It'll be a shot clock violation out of the locker rooms here against the Whitby Warriors. Soroketi waiting as he crosses the restraining line. And as they set up, we'll go downstairs to Jonathan Donville in between the benches.
Yeah, I was going to say, guys, Luke Bowen on Edmonton, he's had a really nice game tonight. Player number 99, though. Interesting move.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously the whole team's from there. His official hometown, Edmonton, Alberta. So he knows the rules better than me, being from that town. I'm just saying. That's a move you don't see every day, but I kudos to him.
I was wondering whether or not I was going to bring it up, so I'm kind of glad that you did as soon as I saw the 99 out there. But as you said, a good game so far here tonight, so we'll let it slide. And I'm sure he's poised for a big tournament as well. Yeah. Settle the score here, Pat.
I think it makes it worse that he's from Edmonton, to be quite honest. But hey, that's just me. That's just me. Again, we don't know the City of Champion rules. Maybe it's fair game.
Here's Haley keeping it safe with double twos. Going now to Patras on the crease again to Little John. Got the party started with the opening goal of the game for Whitby. As now here comes the fast break opportunity, run and punch. Down the other way, just could not catch up to that long pass. Little John will jog it across the restraining line again. Passing back here for Haley. The offense hasn't left the floor yet. Here in over a minute. And down to the far side. Snaking his way through is Pfeiffer. He'll give back for Haley. Shoots past the defender. And this one's going to get past Tristan Dempers. And a reset is called after that shot hit off Melnichuk. Haley. A let's go Whitby chance. Start again. Here, obviously, in Ontario. They're heavy hometown favorites. As the Iroquois Sports Center, where they play their home games, went 14-1 regular season and playoffs combined. Miners breaking out the other way, however, and it'll be a transition goal back the other way off the stick of Jacob Power.
Man, we talked about how speed kills in this tournament and how the athleticism was going to come to play here, but this is just a beautiful pass. Power in transition, takes the hit after. We'll see here. Knowing that Michael White's coming off the bench, he shoots that through the legs of Caleb Martin. And the Stony Plain, Alberta native brings this game within one, Matt.
And you saw earlier in the game, you can get to Caleb Martin. Again, throughout the playoffs, it was kind of, especially in the Orangeville series, which was just a tremendous lacrosse series. Get a pileup down here off to our right at the restraining line, and down and might be hurt as Reese Barnes gets up slowly, hobbling off. Haley gets knocked down. Big hit coming. Little John never got there before the ball bounced out of the stick of the Miners player. Will now be recovered from Alex Lemieux. Just chasing it down into the corner and try and check on the status there of Reese Barnes over on the bench. Looks like trainer Emily Kenyon is going to work. And Lemieux, him and Carter's shot got tangled up, and we'll hand the ball here to the Miners. Jake Bowen. Jake Bowen corrals his own rebound. We'll see if they get another shot here. They do. I'm not going to ask you what you're seeing this time, Jonathan. What are you hearing down there between the benches? And please keep it family friendly.
Yeah, free content for all the NLL content producers out there. Mitch Wild is one of the best mic'd up personalities I've ever seen. Trying to say this, turned around so he doesn't kill me.
We'll leave it there because we can hear what's coming through your microphone. It's kind of probably a good thing that the folks at home cannot. But we'll leave it right there. And yeah, CC, Devin Caney and her crew, who do excellent work in their own right. Playing through here, another big hit. And as Marcus Needham, ball popped free on his way in front of that Whitby bench. 5 minutes gone here, just the one goal so far in the period, going the way of the Miners to bring them back within one.
And Oldman, again, what a game he's having. He has a goal, he's been dominant on faceoffs, but moving the ball in transition, he's not getting caught in bad spots, which he has been definitely done in the playoffs, especially just trying to do too much here. He's playing within himself, and he's been tremendous tonight.
Collision in front of Whitby's bench, gets a few oohs and ahs from the fans, especially those in front of our camera position. Halfway through this Miners shot clock though. They have it from the outside far boards. Quickly through Jake Bowen. Now back again, over the top, and that one off the hand perhaps. Is that Soroketti or is it Tapper that soaked that one?
I think we're starting to see more of this Whitby Warriors defense that we were used to seeing. Playing aggressive, but they have that backside help, blocking some shots, getting in transition, really starting to settle here in the third period.
Again, over 2 weeks off for the majority of this team, save for those who got on a plane and went to Ireland and back in that time and played another massive tournament going multiple days in a row. So take your pick on who's going to be the most tired. And guess what? They get to do it again tomorrow. 2 games on tap, 5 p.m., 8 p.m. back here on the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League YouTube channel and TSN Direct. Huge moving screen up top. I don't think there's much argument there as Scott Reed got lit up. And a penalty coming to the Miners. Did someone ask for payback or did someone say something on their way by?
I did see a ball go flying. I wasn't sure if that was
okay.
Who threw the ball there is Matthew Gauthier. Maybe our Ringside reporter Jonathan Donville might have more.
I think it was a delayed game. I think it was unsportsmanlike. Gauthier just run a little hot after the play. Man, Gauthier is a back trouble.
Well, he's the guy that's going to sit here for 2 or less as this Whitby power play gets back out there. Haley tried to feed it through into the corner, and it's brought down by the Miners, and head down and going all the way is Matthew McFadden. McFadden turned into the far corner there by Ben McDonnell. He'll out a couple cross checks for good measure. McFadden now brought down, and ball must have come out at some point because it's awarded here to the Miners with a fresh 30 seconds. And look out as change coming off that bench. Got him behind Davis Dame, and then he nearly went and sat down. Darlison grabs a hold of his stick, and we're going 4-on-4.
Gotten away with more than that in this game, but
yeah,
just,
but you know,
kind of a silly play though at this time of the game, especially after unsportsmanlike going to Edmonton 2 minutes earlier, right? You know it's going to come back, and I think that's the message on the Whitby bench too. Is like, got to be smart.
And a bit of a retaliation play. There was a hit right near the open door, which is always a dangerous spot for more than a few reasons. As this ball might get away, and look out here as Owen Tapper's on his horse, and he might get the breakaway, the shot over top of Melnichuk. Miners getting back with pressure arriving there from Ben McDonnell. And it'll be Jake Bowen. A lot of room to work with now for this offense, and it will be Luke Bowen again in number 99. 40 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Gauthier already standing in the box. He wants to get out there for his turn at what's going to be a brief Miners power play. 8 minutes gone here in the period. 7-6. Lead for Whitby, and a dive and a goal. We're tied again, and Jackson Genn is cleared for takeoff on runway 7.
Caleb Martin and one of the officials having a discussion here, and we'll get a great look from this angle as he beats his man underneath. Michael White takes flight, and this is the look that we're going to want to see right here. Ball still in the stick. Ooh, that is real close, Matt.
Well, and here's the rule here, if I understand it, is the cylinder rule, not the NLL. So if that ball doesn't cross line before his feet cross in the air,
yes,
it should be called a crease violation, which is so tough for the refs to call in the heat of the moment. And
I think his toe might have even touched before he took flight, to be quite honest.
That should be over and back, I think, against Whitby, but Patras gets away with it, and Haley will come down, turn and fire, and Melnichuk will grab it on his left leg. Gauthier was hopping up and down in the box. He stood for about the last 4 minutes, if you include all the stoppages we've had while he's been in there. Harris leading the play. Gauthier, and now an over and back over there at the Miners bench. We heard the last minute realization of what was about to happen. 24 seconds now, and it's about a 7-second difference between the penalty clock and shot clock. And Patras doesn't care. He's going to take it to the rack every time.
Crease or not, incredibly athletic play by Callan Harris to even beat his man and get close to making that a crease dive.
And that's the other side of the crease play. We may have another one here. Harris, that time you saw Tapper coming and didn't want the midair collision, but it takes away such an athletic play. And you know, I've had conversations with Jeremy Bailey about this. He's on the floor tonight, one of the most veteran officials in the OLA. And I mean, we go back and forth. Shane Hubbard is the RIC of this tournament in the absence of Ian Garrison, and you know, him and I have gone back and forth on it, but there are plenty of arguments to be made on both sides.
It's just so hard for the officials to call it without Video review.
And that's the other side of it, without video review.
The way they call it in the NLL with the video review, it's easier to call the goal, go back, watch, see a billion angles, watch it again, slow it down. And that's another topic for discussion, which I will not get into.
Goche out of the corner, might have got tugged down there by the Whitby player, and I think the Warriors are going back to the box here. And Goche, a bit of a swagger walk as he heads away from the scene of the crime. Absolutely, Jonathan, you can go.
You gotta love Goche, right? He runs a little too hot a couple minutes ago, takes a bad penalty, his team comes through, kills it off, and then that's just a hustle play. He just created a hustle play for his team, gets the ball, gets dragged down just because he's hustling through the whole play, and gets up and does the Conor McGregor walk. Yeah, because really, might as well, right? You make a good play, might as well celebrate.
Well, he is going to be low man on the crease on the near side, wants the ball the entire way, trying to complete the absolute swagger play by perhaps giving his team a lead here. First shot will be off the leg of Patras, however, from Jake Bowen. Bouncing, oh, that looked like, I think it was off a Whitby player, but they're going to get the ball here. Patras feeding through, and the shot from Tapper. Patras, big collision there as comes back into the stick of Ronan Punch.
That was a ridiculous feed from Patras. Somehow able to thread the needle there. But Whitby not be able to convert here, so another about a minute 15 seconds for this minor team to regain this lead.
Bit of a hidden ball play up top. Everyone was on to it, so they go back to the crease for Goche, who turns and fires and scores. Draws the penalty, walks away from it, and then gives his team the lead.
Matthew Goche, a guy you absolutely hate to play against, but if he's wearing the same colors as you, you absolutely would run through a brick wall for him. Look at this great ball movement. Again, it's not just the ball movement, but Goche with a great fake and somehow beats Martin there, battles through a hard check on that rotation. Just a great play from Goche, and that just goes to show you how he was able to be such a breakout performer in the postseason.
I told you it was a kind of Whitby favorite crowd here, as you would expect, and a couple of the teams have hung around as the Miners get this face-off, excuse me. The shot bounces just past Martin, but you know you've done something when the opposition's fans and other teams are oohing and aahing at your shot when it shows up on the video board here inside the CAA Center, which is what Matthew Goche did just there. Charlie McFadden took a big hit right after the straightening line. I believe that was Jack Oldham.
Yeah, Goche certainly not the most orthodox runner or shooter or athlete.
Here's Jake Darlison, meanwhile, down the floor.
But he's just a guy that seems to get it done.
Ball bouncing here. Darlison will pick up. It's out of his stick and into the Miners bench. They immediately signal that it's going to go the other way. And that's where it does go for Edmonton. Stopping low, taking a couple defenders with him. That play nearly worked in favor of Punch. Now, Jake Doolittle will get a chance here on the near side. Pfeiffer trailing. He'll slow down at the restraining line, far side to his captain, Patras, who puts it through the legs of Melnichuk, ties this at 8.
6 points for Patras, and the big night continues for the captain as his biggest goal of the evening. It's his third, and it comes at a great opportunity. Pfeiffer gives it over, and again, a great pick by Dempers. Doesn't blow up his man. It's just enough space for Patras to free up space for himself, get that shot on the run, which we've seen so many times this season. But the Miners defender there, I don't know who it was, almost got a stick on that trail check, but Patras was able to get that shot off.
Oldman winning the faceoff, just got away from Reese Barnes, who denied Oldman the chance for another faceoff goal off as we're coining it. Haley down in the corner for Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer turns back. Hit there from Oldman. Haley, he'll rip one off the arm of Melnichuk. And the rebound into the stick here of the Miners. Connor Cook. He's down and he'll race up towards center. Haley trying to cause an 8 count. And Cook looked back over his shoulder. I think he's looking for someone to pass to. And there's just nobody on the floor in a black jersey. Last one out there is Gauthier. Kalen Harris to the far side. Bowen in the corner. And that pass picked off, intended for Gauthier on the crease. Over and across center. Tapper.
Tapper almost had Patra.
Harris, look out. He thought it was an over and back. Harris fully sold out on the transition back the other way. And here's Soroketti, denied by the left arm of Melnichuk.
No goals, no assists for Soroketti, but not for a lack of effort. He's all over the net, just hasn't been able to find the back of it.
Look out here, Gauthier decided not to take it to the crease despite perhaps an open lane. Goes to the far side instead. Gauthier has it again, late in the shot clock. Low one comes, and it's Martin making the save and pushing it out to the outside. Davis Dane bringing it down with a fresh 30, and 5.5 to go in regulation. Ball skips away from Dame out of the corner. Bowen couldn't pick up. It will be Whitby on a couple nifty moves from Michael White to get across center. Little John outside. Brock Haley, low shot. Caught in the big stick there of Melnichuk again. And as Smith brings it across center, we'll go downstairs to Jonathan Donville. It'll be Whitby ball.
Everyone's playing hurt this time of year. Just wanted that on record, though. You podcasters.
Thank you for that update. That was great.
It's a long weekend, Donnie. We'll see if we can get one of the trainers to take a look at you.
Knox for Patras. Here for Little John. If you need us to flag down the refs to stop the game for you.
It's okay, guys. Face is a long way from the heart, you know?
Good.
Might have to bring out of retirement the great Gazoo helmet from the last Minto.
Didn't the NFL start using those in practices?
Yeah.
We got serious business here, boys. 4 minutes left in an 8-8 tie as the Miners trying to change that, taking a low shot in on Martin. Whitby up over center. Reed got hit in the hand. He's shaking out the left wing. He'll also shake off Kalen Fraser. Budway in the corner. Here's Haley. They'll bring it down again. No shot there. They go back to the far side. One there. I believe that's Soroketti again that has one taken away from Melnichuk. Down floor. What a pickup and what a shot. Just wide, however, from Reese Barnes. Rebound's going to bounce all the way up towards center. Postured up over top of it was Royer, but it rolls just free. And it's going to be down floor over the shoulder shot there from Jake Darlison, as perhaps we're going to go back and forth here for the final 3 minutes. Kalen Mander. Pass knocked down. Climbing the ladder was Gauthier. He got taken down, still up for grabs. All of this on the Miners shot clock is now it will reset, however, as Carter shot. Secures possession here for Whitby. Actonel, Tristan Deppers. the outside, Patras. He'll work around a screen from Soroketti. He'll get a second one as well. Ball comes loose, and Melnichuk now out to take care of Patras.
Melnichuk's getting close to a 50-burger, almost 50 saves. I believe that was save 49 last offensive possession.
Callan Harris trying to spin away from pressure out in the corner, eventually ran out of space and taken down to the turf. This is late in the shot clock, as you see on your screen. Both teams, by the way, do have a timeout here in the pocket as we get inside the 2-minute warning. And as we found out earlier today, full 10-minute overtime should we require it. Harris.
Boy, I'm becoming a big fan of Harris's game. He's fearless going to the net and absolutely relentless on the forecheck and the back check.
Final 90 seconds. Royer to the outside. Cutting through, a couple fakes and full splits required from Martin to turn that one aside into the corner. Miners pick up. Big fake from Royer, and another split save made by Martin. This time it rolls out the right side. We near the final minute of regulation in this 8-8 tie. Doolittle gets it across center there for Soroketti. The Miners wanted an 8 count and didn't get it. Soroketti down to a knee. And
chin strap, Owen Tapper's chin strap wasn't done up.
That'll allow Punch to get it ahead, and look out, big collision there. And down is Martin, and the bucket goes flying. We saw this late in the first game today as Martin is up and now standing. Both sides want to call. And there's 2 on the board for Jacob Power, who is going to go off here. The officials are going to discuss. Sean Williams wants perhaps more than the 2.
Whereas the other side wants it removed from the clock, which we know isn't happening. They're trying to argue.
Was pushed in, and Mitch Wild giving his best arguments and the explanations over to Jonathan Donville down there between the benches.
Yeah, he just told me what the play they're gonna run. I'm not gonna. Okay.
I just heard that. That is awesome.
Yep, Little John up
I'm
to
going to be
Haley.
honest, I didn't understand what he was saying, but he did explain to me what the play was going to be.
Well, 35 seconds here. Patras, Haley. Back up for Patras. Again, down to the crease for Pfeiffer. Couldn't bring it down cleanly. Shot clock down to 10. Pfeiffer from the seat of his pants gives it here into the corner. Haley, Pfeiffer, bounce shot, Little John, rebound, and timeout called by Whitby with 19 to go in regulation.
Whitby Warriors at full timeout.
So one of the better goals that we've seen on the day so far coming here from Harris.
Yeah, we'll see. Harris takes it down low. Recognize that slide man from White's not going to come. He takes it. There's the initial. Oh, man,
Wow.
that is so close. I think initially his toe was super close, but again, that is just so difficult. And these officials don't have the opportunity.
I just like looking at the crowd. Everybody's pointing at the board and talking to the person beside them. Here's how we got to the tie game that we're at right now, as Patras rips the shot and finds Twine, as he's done so many times this year. 8-8 is your score. Martin does remain in the cage and upright, which is good to see after that collision. That put Power in the box. Little John up top. And they'll just wait things out with Haley. 10 now to go. Play will start here in a couple seconds. Little John in the corner. Pfeiffer feeding it through. Haley has it back. A couple fakes and Melnichuk off his arm. 1.2 left, though. They'll get one more chance. Haley all the way back to the restraining line. Look out, no time. And oh boy, that one caught Hudson Shivers. Talk about laying it all out. The last minute, that's what it means to the Edmonton Miners.
He keeps holding his throat. Hopefully we'll get a look right here. Hopefully he's okay. But stepping out in front of a shot is never easy. But when it's a sharpshooter, a heavy shot like Brock Haley, that is absolutely what sacrificing the body is embodied.
Push.
Those are the little things that the Miners have been doing all game, right? They really have played an outstanding game in the little areas. They've caused a lot of turnovers when Whitby's trying to clear the ball. They've had a lot of tough ground ball plays, loose ball plays, like the one that Goche ended up getting a penalty called on. And they've been really good at getting in the lanes, especially on the penalty kill I mentioned earlier with McFadden. They're just taking away shooting lanes and getting there. And I can see a lot of them from my angle from in between the benches. It's just they're just talking these shooters out of it or making them double clutch. And then the goaltending's been fantastic, really for both teams, but for the Miners especially. Melanchuk's been, just outstanding here. He's got to be well over 50 saves now and a couple big ones. Haley put that last one right before the end of regulation there. He put that last one right in the corner.
Did that sign say Mexico?
Top left just came out and stuffed it.
Sorry, our crew is getting a good look at a lot of the fans here inside the CAA Center. Didn't mean to interrupt you there, Jonathan. It looked like they came from Mexico to watch the Miners play. We're going to need to learn more about that as this tournament goes on. Here's how we got to this point. We are headed for overtime. It'll be a full 10-minute period for the second time today. As here's Harris making that crease dive.
Of course.
Gave them the lead, and then Goche, the swagger play.
Goche, one of these players, and here's this last goal. How we ended up here in overtime, and keep in mind, Power still in the box for overtime with that penalty.
And everybody lined up in the offensive zone. It'll be a face-off win for Reese Barnes, who's going to circle the crease here. Got tripped up and lost the ball, but everybody thought that Oldman was just going to walk that one in, and Barnes said, absolutely not on my watch.
Despite the confusion from earlier, again, a reminder, not sudden death, a full period of 10 minutes. So, I mean, if the Miners can come here, kill off what was a little bit of a questionable call before in regulation.
The game started with Lucas Littlejohn, and he wants it to end with Lucas Littlejohn. First blood here in overtime goes to Whitby.
And as I was saying, yeah, so go, okay. This is a little bit of a backbreaker. Littlejohn, again, another goal right on top of the crease. He's a guy that just has that knack for the neck. The game's not over. If you're the Miners, you have to, okay, we're down one, but this is a team that's been gritty all game long, all season long. They know how to deal with adversity, so as long as you get that next one, keep that positive mindset. This thing is far from over.
This time Oldman does bring it down, and Tapper will get it, and we'll go downstairs to Jonathan Donville.
Like on that penalty kill there, they can string passes together like the best of them. That's really when they're dangerous.
And as you're speaking, Patras twice in all alone on Melnichuk. And he slams the door after Knox took it away with a big hit inside the restraining line. Here's Haley. Another save from Melnichuk. Rebound goes straight to Tristan Dempers. overtime power play goal from Littlejohn. Makes it 9-8. Here's Dempers. Long shot, hard off the end boards. Bounces right back to Dempers again. Patras will pick it up. Haley, after it skipped free. And now Knox trying to beat the over and back. He does. Selling all out, and that'll bring the Sticks to life over on the Whitby bench. And Patras will give him the apple. And Knox is getting the majority of the head taps over on the bench. Rightly so.
Again, look at that hustle play by Knox. Goes right in the stick of Patra. And anytime you give him time and space, bad things are probably going to happen. Goal number 4. 7 points on the evening. Have yourself a night, captain. But what about that hustle play from Riley Knox? That is the things. I mean, literally, it's probably going to show up on the score sheet as an assist. So, but those little hustle plays, you don't get extra credit for that.
Jeff O'Neill wants a half assist, but I don't know if we can get 1.5.
If you could, he
Riley
deserves
Knox.
it. Oh, no doubt about
Pfeiffer.
that.
Down in the corner as Whitby gets to work again. Jack Oldman effect here, despite not getting the first face-off of this overtime period. Under 10 of the shot clock. They needed to hurry from Soroketian. Man, another soak from a Edmonton Miners defender. This time Alex Lemieux standing in. I don't know what ice baths they've got back in the hotel, but they are going to be full after this game. And remind you, it's day number 1 here of the Minto Cup. Fake pass from out of the corner.
Again, if you're the Miners, I know it's 2 goals, and at some points in this game, goals have come at a premium, but you got to keep that positive mindset. Know that just you can strike here quick.
Outside shot coming there from Jake Bowen. By the way, we want to apologize to Ronan Push for incorrect pronunciation. If we pick any of that up, please do let us know, as we're starting to learn a lot of these out-of-province players for the first time. Being impressed by many of them. Haley to the far side. Dempers lost that, but recovers, and now Haley again for Patras. It was a knockdown right on the crease, and it was Pfeiffer who recovers just in time to take a shot, and it forced Melanchuk into, if he was close to 50 before, this has got to be nearing 60. There is Push.
I believe it's 58 now, Matt.
Which is near 60, thank you.
Yeah, no, I know. Just you know, big numbers guy over here.
Goche, Bowen, and Needham. Out through the middle, Royer. Shot over top of Martin, and they need one to beat the shot clock in. Official says it just skipped there to give a fresh 30 here to the Miners. Davis Dane bringing it down. Royer across. Bowen. Hard screen set there by Needham. Bowen cutting through. Number of moves. Backdoor pass shoveling. Oh, how did Martin make that save on Goche? Not going to make the second, however, as it's in the net, along with Caleb Martin. And the Miners are within 1.
Tough result for Caleb Martin, because I have no idea how he's able to make this save, but kudos to Matthew Goche, who's quickly becoming a fan favorite on this broadcast, but probably in this building too. Big save by Martin.
Man.
Goche grabs it, and he's not even past GLE, throws that on net and scores. And I was following Goche almost that entire shift. Sometimes he doesn't even look at the ball. He's just crashing, banging like a bowling ball, off ball, and then he gets free, gets that ball, and immediately just magic happens. He makes that little flip pass that originally starts it there, and just unbelievable work for him. And look at that save there. You got to feel for Martin, as he's not able to get back in his net quite quick enough.
Reese Barnes won the faceoff, but not possession as it's brought down into the corner. Gauthier quickly hustling into the corner, looking to retrieve it. Had it rolled just past him in the crease, and now picked up by Darlison. Nearing the halfway mark of this full 10-minute overtime period, where we've seen 2 goals for Whitby so far. Miners just answered to make it 10-9. Brock Haley over the top, his shot. Melnichuk will make the saves. It rolls into the far side. Patras on the rebound. Comes up to the restraining line. Haley. Now Patras. Soroketti will wait it out. Everyone leaves him space. Soroketti over the top, spins back. Shot is there, skips it off the turf. And crease violation, Whitby, as that was put in behind Melnichuk. Will that one come into play later? The captain, Bennett Smith, looking down floor for the Miners, and I don't know if Whitby ever got possession. Yes, they did, and it'll be a reset here for the Miners. Off the bench, Gauthier. Ducking back, Harris sends it off the bucket there of Martin, who tells the official he's good to go, which is a good thing because here comes Edmonton again. Harris spinning back and dives for the crease one more time. Miners have it back, bouncing ball there, and McDonnell will take it off the turf. Haley with him, the bench was yelling that the entire way. Under 4 to play here in overtime. Haley dampers a collision. Little John looking to set the screen. He does. Haley will beat his man one-on-one and then cut through the crease. Dempers, recovery, Patras, Little John, late in the shot clock and cleanly caught here by the captain. Smith trying to run away from Little John. Michael White will push him out to the outside. And Davis Dame recovers the possession here, halfway through the shot clock. Miners set up again. This will be Connor Cook. Looking to the far side, Bowen pops out of the pile. He'll get a shot here late in the shot clock, and it just skips wide and will go up and out of play. I guess they're gonna say that caught a piece of Martin on its way out as the shot clock resets. Harris. Looking through, Dame on the far side. Comes back for Bowen. Had a bit of trouble with it initially, but now Little John chases him to the crease and bringing it down the far side, turning and firing is Dame, and pouncing on the rebound before it left the crease was Caleb Martin. Kobe Hanser, cross centers. We've got 2.5 to go in a 1-goal overtime game. Here on day number 1 of the Minto Cup. Haley. Cross floor, Patras. Pfeiffer spins back, tried to beat his man, couldn't. And now Pfeiffer has to go back across the floor. That back and forth pass nearly worked, as Jonathan Donville pointed out earlier. And now Push will get it across the timeline. Push on his way to the net, got run over. Looked at the official, as did all the fans here from the Miners. No call allowing Jake Doolittle to bring it up. Doolittle looks like maybe a little hitch in his step as he turns back and sets the pick. Keep an eye on Doolittle going off. Pfeiffer has Knox in front of him, and now trailing the play, it is Budway. Shot comes, Melnichuk the save. Budway the rebound, fakes the pass to the left side of the floor. He'll keep it here with Riley Knox. Minute 20 to go here in the extra period. Patras there for Pfeiffer. Caught Melnichuk low, but then rose to meet the shot. And big takedown down in the corner. Pfeiffer comes away with it. Pfeiffer, far side, what a save from Melnichuk. And a timeout called by the Miners will give us a chance to see it again over and over.
Let's get another look at this, because this is pure robbery from Melnichuk. A great save, diving across the crease. And just as they call timeout. They pick up possession. Huge opportunity for this Miners team to tie things up with under a minute to go. Sorry, just over a minute, 1:01 to be exact.
Well, if you're enjoying this, how about tomorrow? 2 games on the docket every day of the round robin. On Tuesday, all times Eastern, Toronto Beaches and Miners will get the 5 o'clock draw, and then our primetime game tomorrow night, Whitby Warriors and Victoria Shamrocks. Again, 8 p.m. Eastern for that one, the nightcap, which should be a great game as well. All games on the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League YouTube channel and TSN Direct. As we invite you back in the building tomorrow. What a day number 1, goodness. Last minute here in overtime. Miners need one. Have Melnichuk on the bench. And that shot goes off the glass. Look out. Here's Patras with a clean break. And he'll put it in. The Ontario champions are up by 2. And the Miners are going to the box. And their bench is fired up about it. There is some jawing between the benches there. And this is going to be a dime against Connor Cook after the fact.
Just an unfortunate bounce. It goes off the Warriors' stick, and who else but Patra. That just shows you the guy that was almost leading you in scoring, and not a big deal, throws a twister finish on the breakaway empty netter. But this is a guy that is second in scoring in the regular season in the playoffs, and you trust him enough to be on defense on a 6-on-5 play with under a minute to go. Unbelievable. This guy is a freak. And he picks up the loose ball off the face-off. Like,
face-off,
what can this guy? He cannot do it. He can do everything. It's nuts.
So it looks like after day number 1, Ontario is going to be perfect. 1-0 for the Beaches and for the Warriors. And the Miners and the Shamrocks with work to do. Both playing those opposite teams again tomorrow as we head into day number 2. Miners still yet to play here. I think that may have hit off the back of Goche as it rolls into the corner. Goche gets it back. He's going to take on all comers this time. Still with it. Flips it over his back and the horn will sound. And the Whitby faithful will celebrate an 11-9 overtime win.
Day 1 in the books here at the Minto Cup from Brampton, and you mentioned it, Ontario, a perfect 2-0, but both teams that suffered losses today have to keep their heads up. I know we talk about how long this tournament is, but it can slip away from you quickly, but both of them proving they took these teams to overtime. This is going to be an unbelievable tournament, Matt. Both teams are, all 4 teams, so close. A couple of breaks here and there for the Miners. There's no reason that they could not have been the one that was victorious today, and you could say the same thing for the Shamrocks as well.
We'll stay with you for handshakes and player of the game presentations. I have a feeling number 51 in white will be one of those. And interesting conversation for the Miners here. I mean, Melnichuk in a losing effort, a 60 save performance is nothing to look the wrong way about. I know we liked Goche. Harris was pretty flashy on his couple goals.
Yeah, I think it's got to go to either Goche, who had 3 goals and 3 assists, or Melnichuk, who 64 saves in a losing effort. I mean, he was lights out. He's a goalie that came over from New West, played 1 regular season game with them and really rode a hot streak in the postseason. Helped this Miners team, I believe, just losing 1 goal or 1 game in the postseason. So this is a team that's been a well-oiled machine for a while, and they got to keep their heads high. This is a gritty, well-coached, athletic team that I think has a chance to make some noise here, Matt.
They do. They'll be back at it again tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. against the Toronto Beaches. They'll get the first game of the day, and then Whitby Warriors back on the floor to face the Shamrocks in our nightcap as we await the player of the game presentations from here at the CAA Center in Brampton.
Welcome to the floor, former OLA president, Mr. Jim Beworthy. For our player of the game presentations, we'll start with the visiting team, the Edmonton Miners. And please give a big round of applause for number 00, Keegan Melanchuk. And from the Whitby Warriors, number 51, Adam Norris. Let's have another big round of applause for Adam and Keegan. Way to go, guys. Thank you all for coming out and showing your support. We hope you have a safe trip.
Well, as we expected, Adam Potras for the Whitby Warriors and Keegan Melanchuk for the Miners Lacrosse Club. Beaches are 1-0. Whitby Warriors 1-0 after day number 1, Pat.
Again, I think we talked about how close these teams were, but I don't think we could get any closer. 2 games in overtime, and if day 1 is any indication how this tournament's going to go, sign me up for action all week long, Matt.
Alex Frazza has been our director today. Our producer, Gary Morrison, on behalf of them in the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League and the Minto Cup, I'm Matthew Carrick for Pat Gregoire and Jonathan Donville. Good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow from the CAA Center in Brampton here on the Ontario Junior Lacrosse League YouTube channel and TSN Direct.